It was not one brave family. It was not a single courageous individual taking a stand. It was an entire village, a whole community, that quietly made a decision and kept it through years of danger, a decision to shelter the hunted and never ever to betray them. In a small village set among the hills, surrounded by an occupied country crawling with the enemy and the threat of the secret police, thousands of people in mortal danger found refuge. They were taken in, hidden, fed, protected, and saved, not by a handful of heroes, but by an entire population that silently agreed to resist the evil around them. No one gave them away. No one betrayed the secret. The whole village simply did what it believed was right, together, and in doing so, saved thousands of lives. This is the story of the village that hid an entire people. This is a story about collective courage, about what becomes possible when an entire community unites in the service of a moral cause. It is a story about quiet, undramatic heroism, about the kind of courage that does not seek attention or glory, but simply does what is right, day after day, at enormous risk. And it is a story about the power of ordinary people acting together to resist evil and to accomplish extraordinary good, a testament to the heights that human decency can reach when a whole community chooses compassion over fear. To understand the magnitude of what this village accomplished, you have to understand the nature of their action and the danger it entailed. During the occupation, certain groups of people were hunted by the regime, marked for persecution and death. For these people, survival depended on finding refuge, on being hidden and protected from the authorities who sought them. To shelter such people was extraordinarily dangerous. For anyone caught hiding, the hunted faced severe punishment, including death. To take in and protect those marked for persecution was to risk everything, to place oneself and one's family in mortal danger. It was an act of the greatest courage and moral conviction. What made this village so remarkable was that this courage was not the act of a few individuals, but of an entire community. In many places, there were brave individuals who took the risk of sheltering the hunted, isolated acts of courage amid a population that did not participate. But in this village, the sheltering of the hunted became a collective endeavor, an undertaking in which the whole community participated, or at least silently supported. The entire village, in effect, agreed to take in and protect those in danger, to make their community a refuge for the hunted. This collective participation, this community-wide commitment to sheltering the persecuted, was what set the village apart and made its achievement so extraordinary. The scale of what the village accomplished was remarkable. Over the course of the occupation, the village and its surrounding area took in and sheltered thousands of people in danger. These refugees were hidden in homes, on farms, in various places throughout the community. They were fed and clothed and protected, often for extended periods. The whole infrastructure of the village, its homes and farms and institutions, became part of a vast effort to shelter and save the hunted. Thousands of lives were preserved through this collective effort, a staggering achievement for a single community to accomplish. Now we should be honest about the history here, because the story of this village is real and well documented, and it deserves to be told with accuracy and the deep admiration it commands. What follows is grounded in the genuine record of this remarkable community and its actions, though we will tell it as a narrative to convey its full meaning. The core is true. A village and its surrounding community really did shelter and save thousands of people marked for persecution during the occupation, acting collectively at enormous risk and never betraying those they protected. The details are recounted to honor their courage and convey the remarkable nature of their achievement. One of the most striking aspects of the village's story is the way the entire community kept the secret, never betraying those they sheltered. In a community where so many people were involved in or aware of the sheltering of the hunted, the danger of betrayal was ever present. A single person, out of fear, malice, or weakness, could have betrayed the secret, exposing the i.e. refugees and those who sheltered them to the authorities. And yet this did not happen. The whole village kept the secret, maintaining a wall of silence that protected the hunted. This collective fidelity, this refusal of an entire community to betray those they sheltered, was remarkable, a testament to the depth of the village's moral commitment. The motivation behind the village's extraordinary action was rooted in deep moral and ethical conviction. The people of the village were moved by their conscience, by their sense of what was right, by a profound commitment to compassion and to the protection of the vulnerable. They could not stand by while people were hunted and killed, and they were determined to help, whatever the risk. This moral conviction, shared across the community, was the foundation of their collective action. It was not a matter of calculation or self-interest, but of conscience, of a deep commitment to doing what was right, even in the face of mortal danger. Consider the courage that the village's action required, sustained over a long period under constant threat. This was not a single act of bravery, but a sustained commitment, maintained day after day throughout the occupation. The danger was constant, the threat of discovery ever present. At any time, the authorities might have descended on the village, discovered the sheltered refugees, and punished those responsible. Yet the village maintained its commitment, continuing to shelter and protect the hunted despite the unrelenting danger. This sustained collective courage, maintained over years under constant threat, was extraordinary, a testament to the depth and endurance of the village's moral resolve. The village's action also required remarkable practical effort and organization. Sheltering thousands of people over an extended period was an enormous undertaking, requiring the provision of food, shelter, and other necessities, the coordination of hiding places, the management of the constant influx of refugees. The whole community had to participate in this effort, contributing their homes, their resources, their labor to the work of sheltering the hunted. This practical effort, sustained over a long period, was a remarkable achievement of collective organization and dedication, a demonstration of what a community could accomplish when united in a common purpose. What does the village's story reveal about the nature of courage and moral action? First and foremost, it demonstrates the extraordinary power of collective action, of what becomes possible when an entire community unites in the service of a moral cause. The village's achievement was possible only because the whole community participated, because the sheltering of the hunted became a collective endeavor. This illustrates the immense power of collective moral action, the way that a community united in a common purpose can accomplish far more than isolated individuals. The village's story is a powerful testament to what people can achieve when they act together in the service of what is right. The story also illustrates a particular kind of heroism, quiet and undramatic, that does not seek attention or glory, but simply does what is right. The people of the village did not see themselves as heroes, did not seek recognition or praise. They simply did what they believed was right, quietly and without fanfare, sheltering the hunted because it was the moral thing to do. This quiet heroism, this undramatic doing of what is right, is in some ways more admirable than the dramatic heroism that seeks glory. The village's story is a powerful example of this kind of heroism, the everyday courage of ordinary people doing extraordinary good without seeking acclaim. Consider, too, what the village's story reveals about the power of ordinary people to resist evil and accomplish good. The people of the village were not powerful or important figures. They were ordinary people, farmers and villagers, living quiet lives. And yet, through their collective action, they resisted a brutal regime and saved thousands of lives. This illustrates the immense power that ordinary people possess, the capacity of ordinary individuals acting together to resist evil and accomplish extraordinary good. The village's story is a powerful reminder that one need not be powerful or important to make a difference, that ordinary people acting on their conscience can change the world. There is a profound lesson here about the importance of moral conviction and the willingness to act on it, even at great risk. The people of the village were moved by their conscience, by their commitment to what was right, and they acted on this conviction despite the mortal danger it entailed. This illustrates the importance of not merely holding moral beliefs, but acting on them, of translating conviction into action, even when doing so is dangerous. The village's story is a powerful example of moral conviction translated into courageous action, of a community that lived out its values through its deeds, whatever the cost. It is worth reflecting on the significance of the collective nature of the village's action, the way the whole community participated. There is something especially powerful about an entire community uniting in a moral cause, about the way that collective action can create a kind of moral environment in which doing the right thing becomes the norm. In the village, sheltering the hunted was not an isolated act of individual courage, but a community-wide commitment, supported by the whole population. This collective commitment created a powerful force for good, a moral solidarity that enabled and sustained the village's extraordinary action. The collective nature of the action was central to its power and its success. Consider as well the trust and solidarity that the village's action required and reflected. For the whole community to participate in sheltering the hunted, to keep the secret, to support one another in this dangerous endeavor, required a deep trust and solidarity among the people of the village. They had to trust one another not to betray the secret, to support one another in the work of sheltering the hunted, to stand together in the face of danger. This trust and solidarity, this bond of mutual support and shared commitment was essential to the village's achievement. It reflects the power of community, of the bonds that can unite people in a common purpose and enable them to accomplish extraordinary things together. The village's story also stands as a powerful counterexample to the indifference and complicity that allowed evil to flourish. In many places, people stood by, did not resist, or even participated in the persecution of the hunted. The village stands in stark contrast to this, a community that refused to be indifferent or complicit, that chose instead to resist evil and protect the vulnerable. This contrast highlights the significance of the village's action, the way it represented a choice for good in a time when many chose otherwise. The village's story is a reminder that even in the darkest times, there were those who chose to do what was right, who refused to be complicit in evil. There is something deeply inspiring about the village's story, about the way it demonstrates the heights that human decency can reach. In a time of darkness and cruelty, the village shone as a beacon of compassion and courage, a community that chose to protect the hunted at enormous risk to themselves. Their story is an inspiring example of human goodness, of the capacity of ordinary people to rise to extraordinary heights of moral action. It reminds us of the best of which humanity is capable, of the goodness and courage that can be found even in the darkest of times. The village's story is a testament to the enduring power of human decency. The village's collective action also offers a model of how communities can respond to injustice and evil, of the power of community-wide moral commitment. The village shows what becomes possible when a whole community unites in the service of a moral cause, when doing the right thing becomes a collective endeavor. This model of collective moral action, of community-wide resistance to evil, is a powerful one, offering lessons for how communities might respond to injustice in any time. The village's story is not just an inspiring tale of the past, but a model for the present and future, a demonstration of the power of collective moral action. The story of the village that hid an entire people stands as one of the most inspiring examples of collective courage and moral action from the entire era. It demonstrates the extraordinary power of collective action, the heroism of ordinary people doing what is right, and the capacity of a united community to resist evil and accomplish extraordinary good. And it stands as a testament to the heights that human decency can reach, a beacon of compassion and courage in a time of darkness. The village's story is a reminder of the best of which humanity is capable, of the good that ordinary people, acting together on their conscience, can accomplish. By the end of the war, the village had saved thousands of lives through its collective courage, its community-wide commitment to sheltering the hunted, having preserved countless people from persecution and death. Its story of an entire community that united to protect the vulnerable, that never betrayed those it sheltered, that did what was right at enormous risk, stood as a testament to the power of collective moral action. The village had shown what ordinary people, acting together, could accomplish, and its achievement stood as an inspiring example of human decency and courage. So remember the village that hid an entire people, the community that united to shelter the hunted and save thousands of lives. Remember that it was not one brave family, but a whole community, an entire population that quietly agreed to resist the evil around them. Remember that no one betrayed the secret, that the whole village kept faith with those it sheltered, maintaining a wall of silence that protected the hunted. Remember the sustained courage it required, maintained day after day under constant threat. And remember the profound truths the village's story reveals about the extraordinary power of collective action, about the quiet heroism of ordinary people doing what is right, and about the heights that human decency can reach when a whole community chooses compassion over fear and unites in the service of what is good.